Hello, welcome to a very special House of R episode live from San Diego Comic-Con. I'm Joanna Robinson.
I'm Mallory Rubin.
We're here today to talk about our favorite things we saw at Comic-Con this year.
Yes.
It's our last day.
Yes.
We're on the verge of departing.
Yes.
We're not going to do our usual intro spiel, but we do want to let you know if you're like, hey, it's Sunday, where's the Fantastic Four episode? That's coming on Tuesday. Our Fantastic Four deep dive, we're going to dive deep into Fantastic Four, but that's going to be on Tuesday.
Yes.
So we just wanted to get all of our Comic-Con takes fresh.
While they're fresh.
Live from the ground here in this beautiful FX Alien Earth studio.
Timmy's behind you right now.
Wow,
Look at
my
that.
best friend Tim's here. It's great. It's great to be here. We just thought we would do a breezy little countdown of our top 5 favorite things, moments, experiences that we had at San Diego Comic-Con this year. We saw some panels.
Yes.
We were on some panels. Yeah. We met our listeners. We bonded with the team. We ran all around beautiful San Diego. So Mallory Rubin, do you just want to kick us off with your number 5?
I think before I dive into my 5th, I'll just say this was my first time here.
Yeah.
I've never been here. And so this was my maiden San Diego Comic-Con voyage. I had done some other cons elsewhere in the world. Well, in the United States
We've
of America.
conned together.
We've conned together.
In the past, yeah.
But never here. And I've always wanted to come. I don't really have an explanation for why I haven't, but it was so wonderful to be here with you and share these few days together and to be here with the whole Ringerverse crew, like attending all of the panels, just seeing the excitement, walking around and everywhere you look, some like absolutely astonishing cosplay awaits. And listen to my voice.
Yeah, we're a little
very last day of Comic-Con.
We're a little froggy voice
today,
here,
folks. And getting to, I'll just say, like, that was so cool for the whole Ringerverse crew to get to do a panel at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And to then do the meetup after and get to interact with so many of the Bad Babies and the Midnight Riders and the Junior Mints and the Button Mashers. It like, I feel like it sounds so saccharine and corny every time we say this, but it is so earnest and sincere. Like, we would do the pod if no one listened to it. But to see how many people like love it and what it means to them, and to get to share moments with people who have like really fallen in love with stories that we also love. And then it's like, we're all the part of the community together and you get to feel that so tangibly in real time. It's just really special. So that's my overall highlight. It's just like being here with you guys and getting to meet so many of the Bad Babies. It was awesome. In terms of the actual panels, I had a blast. We saw so many things. I got to experience Hall H through something other than Instagram for the first time in my life. What a treat, what a time. My number 5, however, is less about something I witnessed on stage and more about something I got to witness in the chair next to me.
Oh, sure.
My number 5.
Sure.
You know, we have a lot of people in the Ringerverse family down here. So sometimes we were all together and sometimes we had to divide and conquer. And I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to go to the Anne Rice AMC panels.
Yes.
I did not have a dedicated seat, but I made it in, folks. And I got to sit next to this beautiful angel as she watched the Lestat images and initial teaser trailer be revealed. And I got to feel you quiver and I got to hear you gasp and I got to see you wipe tears away from your eyes. And that's why we do it, to share things like that, because genuinely, like, a lot of what's cool about Comic-Con is getting to interact with the things you love the most. Yeah. But then the other amazing thing, 1A and 1B, is getting to see other people, like, relish in the things that they love. And so it was actually genuinely very special to get to be there. I tried to record a video of Joanna reacting.
Yeah, why won't people be able to see me wipe tears from my eyes?
I did accidentally record my own pants because I guess I'm 75 years old and I don't know how I jumped from 38 to 100.
She took footage right before and right after the moment she intended to record.
I did the old, you don't know when you're hitting record on or off. Really like harrowing for me to have to confront that I'm washed. That's how I learned it officially. I'm washed. So I do have you bracing for the Sam Reed emerging. And then I have a minute and a half, I think, of the particular wash of the jeans I was wearing that day. And then some, like, when I turned my phone over, like some of the bottom of my chin and nose. But I did not capture.
I say release the pant cut.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
So
that's
my
number 5 was seeing your joy because I love you and it was great.
We'll come back to that.
I assume it's your number 1. I don't know.
We'll come back to that.
What's your number 5?
My number 5, I just kind of want to yes and what you said. It's my official number 5, which would be interacting both with our listeners and like the people of Comic-Con. I roped.
See, I just cheated by making that an intro.
You
and then
smuggled it, and
I didn't have to.
I respect the smuggle. Yeah. I really do. I forced my colleagues to play my favorite San Diego Comic-Con game, which is each.
She's only doing this because she won.
I mean, I did win by a lot. But each person picks a costume.
Yep.
That they think the most number of people will be cosplaying as, and then you have to run around and get as many selfies as possible. So picture me yesterday accosting every single Mario I could possibly find. One of them more than once. She was like, you got me this morning, actually.
I got to see that. That was special.
Mallory picked Deadpool. I got to see you run up to a couple Deadpools.
I did, including one in a vehicle in like the maybe middle lane on a crowded street. And I went at least one lane into the road to try to take the selfie. And then Charles said,
it didn't count.
Didn't count.
That's just Charles thought he was going to win, but he didn't win. I won by a lot. But anyway, winning aside.
It was a fun game.
I will say it's really fun because I really love talking to the cosplayers.
Yes.
And the first year I came here, I sat, where we were sitting yesterday outside of Hall H where we were like drinking our coffees and just taking a moment. The first time I came the first time I came to Comic-Con, I sat there just to watch the cosplayers go by, and I literally cried because I think it's so beautiful how excited people are, how much they care, how much time and energy they put into their costumes, and they're at a place where they can just be exactly who they are and exactly who they are. Which in other contexts might make them feel a little other, a little lonely, makes them like the belle of the ball here. Yes. People come running up to them in their most elaborate cosplays, and it's just absolutely wonderful. So I would say interacting with the cosplayers during the game yesterday and just watching all the cosplayers go by, and then meeting the Bad Babies at the meet and greet that we did, which was just incredible. If our voices sound funky, it's probably because we were like enthusing over our very sweet listeners for, I think it was 2.5 hours or something like that straight. Yeah. And hearing how long people have loved listening to Mallory via binge mode, people who have gone back like as far as like Pajiba or Storm of Spoilers with me, and then finding us together, hearing everyone's sort of like journey through our work was really, really impactful. And I forget sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, oh, it's just Mallory and me talking to each other.
Which would be wonderful.
Which would be absolutely the best. But a ton of people listen to that, and we're so lucky and grateful for that. So to get to see everyone and the people who stopped us out on the convention floor and stuff like that to say hi, it was really, really nice. So
it's been the best just to be in like a nerd haven of people who really unapologetically love the things they love and love celebrating that love. Yeah. It's been very, very memorable and cool. I will be back.
I love pointing at cosplayers and shouting out what they are as if they didn't know, That's just like one of my favorite things to do.
Here's the thing that you didn't reveal, but I'll reveal on your behalf, which is that you have already, I won't share it with the specifics, but you've already begun to strategize.
I've picked next year's character already.
Who you will be selecting when we run the game back next year. So it's serious business for you, and I respect that.
Charles came in second.
Yes. Charles put up a solid showing. But
Van and Steve didn't even really try.
At the end of the day, you came in with just a photo drop.
Yeah.
And you didn't actually type this in the group chat, but I felt that you said scoreboard.
That's a sports term I understand. Okay. Mallory Rubin, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is the Peacemaker panel, which was a interesting panel experience, but was like... So that was when we had been in for a prior panel that will be discussed later in the pod. And Arjuna and I kind of like shuffled to find seats elsewhere and join some of the other members of the team who had been hanging out. And I had no idea what to expect in the panel. And my assumption, I don't know, maybe this is a bit strawmanny, but my assumption is that maybe some people left the panel and they were like, wow, we actually didn't get any other DC news or any other DC announcements.
They thought they were going to smuggle in some other
that there would be some shock reveal at the end, because James Gunn, of course, was on the panel. So would that be like, would we see maybe some Supergirl footage, or would we like dare to dream, learn like a bit of casting news on the Batman front or something? None of that happened. And that's fine. I really like Peacemaker. And so it was, and I just think that of all of the stars of a show or a film across the week, and there were a few other really memorable performances, including one of our, featured images here on the back. Timmy really put up just a very remarkable performance. We'll get to that later as well. John Cena, unsurprisingly, was one of the most entertaining of the entire weekend. He came out dressed as Peacemaker. He came out wearing his costume, which is always fun when that happens. Delightful. And he just hammed it up in the best possible way the entire time. He was clearly having a blast. And it was very entertaining to watch him interact with the audience and to really celebrate that people were so enthusiastic about the second season, the pending next month, second season of the show that people have waited years and years for. And we got to see a cool new trailer. We got to see a couple scenes. But the reason ultimately that it made my top 4, even though this was sort of harrowing because the framing was a little violent for my taste, there was a dedicated discussion segment about Crypto and Eagly, 2 of the most important characters in my life. And so how can I not have that in my top 5?
Do you remember yesterday we were walking back to the hotel and you're like, look, there's Eagly. And it was literally just like a picture. It was just like a billboard. And she was across the street, like, there he is. It's Eagly.
I love Eagly dearly. Maybe I should have knocked Peacemaker out of the top 5 because Eagly wasn't a formal participant on the panel. You could go either way with it. But I liked that we got to see a little bit of Eagly. There was a very funny clip that we got to see about bird blindness. Tim Meadows' new character, he's joining the show. He's like, who's this bird that everyone's obsessed about? I can't tell the difference between this bald eagle and a hummingbird. Made me chuckle. What can I say? Made me laugh. So that's my number 4. What comes in at number 4 for you, my darling?
Okay. This is sort of similar to your number 5. It was about sitting there in Hall H and experiencing this, but it was mostly about sitting next to Mallory experiencing this. And it was the Project Hail Mary panel that we got to experience in Hall H yesterday. This is one of our most eagerly anticipated films of next year.
Yeah.
We were saying it was our most, and then our lovely colleagues reminded us of Dune 3.
I just don't believe that Dune is coming out next year, but if it does, great. What an embarrassment of riches for us all.
But Project Hail Mary, which comes out in March of next year, we are so excited for. We love the book by Andy Weir. The panel was Lord and Miller, 2 filmmakers we love. Ryan Gosling. Mallory will talk about his fit and eventually, I'm sure, on this top 5.
Very
Andy
memorable.
Weir and Drew Goddard, just legends, all of them up on the stage. They showed so much footage from this movie, and I was so excited to be sitting there with Arjuna, with Van, and with Mallory. I couldn't really see Arjuna; we were on either ends of the group, but I was so excited to be sitting next to Mallory because she was vibrating and crying a little, and it was everything you would want from a Mallory Rubin. I've been waiting all my life for this panel experience. And then next to her was Van, who has been skeptical, didn't
It's what
really
is this thing that you guys are so excited about?
Yeah, why are you guys so excited for this? Yeah. And at one point, you heard him gasp.
We built.
Yeah.
We got a little gasp.
I kept looking for Van.
We got the chuckles.
Are we getting Van? Yeah, and then you're like, we got him. Mallory turned to me, she's like, we got him.
So, you can feel the moment.
Yeah, Van's on board. I know that Arjuna had a good time too, and it was just it was a fantastic panel. We're so excited, and my podcast idea brain just started going. I was like, oh, we got to do a book club podcast. Yeah. I was like, we could do space movies next, our favorite space movies next year.
Space friendships.
Alien friends. Yeah. Love it. I was like, we got to get Andy Weir on the pod. We got to get,
that would be a dream. I would love that.
I was just like, we're just going to blow this out next year. We're so excited. So not to overpromise and then Hall of Fame deliver, but
we have a lot. If Dune comes out next year, you all will finally get the Hall of Fame. So
we have a lot. We have a lot we want to do about Project Hail Mary. The footage was fantastic. We're so excited for this movie. So
got the first, from my typically very supportive husband, got the first "Don't Hall of Fame It" recently from him.
Oh, wow.
About something. Yeah. And we didn't.
We got a few Hall of Fame mentions at the meet and greet. So there you go.
Great stuff. Spoiler, have Project Hail Mary on my list as well. A little higher. But fuck, was that amazing.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
That was incredible.
Rocky.
Sweet Rocky. I just can't wait. I can't wait to watch that movie and talk about it with you.
I'm tempted. The Bad Babies at our meet and greet, a couple of them really nice folks recommended this podcast musical for me to listen to on my drive back.
Yes.
Which I am definitely going to listen to soon, but I'm kind of
I just want to dive right back in.
Project Hail Mary. I might do a re-listen to Project Hail Mary on my drive back today. So.
Never a bad time.
It's an incredible audiobook if you haven't listened to it.
So. I haven't done the audiobook. Yeah. I'm definitely going to before the film comes out. But yeah, I can't wait to do a reread, and I can't wait for every little trickle of footage that keeps coming out between now and March.
They also, this is your first experience of them pulling back the curtains, in Hall H, and all throughout the panel, they were showing, concept images and just like all this really cool. Mallory just kept snapping photos of every single thing that went up on every single screen. It was great.
I didn't do a great job of snapping the photos. I have a lot of like foreground images of the top of other people's heads. But you live and learn, you know, and then you game plan.
It's your first year.
You game plan for next year.
Yeah.
You know? It's in a way, it's training camp. And training camp is about being in the best shape of your life. And that includes learning how to take a photo and film a video.
Running a combine too, I hear. So,
I mean, it's your favorite thing to talk about, the combine. The combine is at a different point of the year than training camp, but don't worry, we'll follow up on that later.
Damn.
Arjuna just gently nodding in the corner.
I really thought I did something.
You did. You mentioned, you invoked the combine. You know that it's a football thing, and that's great. My number 3.
Yeah.
Is the very first thing we did here, other than like arrive and have some meals. The Percy Jackson Hall H panel. That was the first thing we did in Hall H on Thursday morning. This is, of course, the panel for season 2, which is coming out in December. We had a blast covering season 1 together. We really loved it. That was the first time, like, prepping for that show and then going through the show that I read the books and I really fell in love with them. That panel was really cool for a few different reasons. First of all, I will always remember it because it was my first Hall H panel. So that's just like, it's kind of now embedded in my experience.
First day of the con.
Yeah. And it was my first time getting to like feel in the room, especially because that was a longer audience Q&A portion than in any other panel I attended throughout the weekend.
Mixed bag, audience Q&A.
The positive part of it is like the adoration and fandom was so palpable from everybody who like vibrated their way to the mic and just expressed how much the performers mean to them, how much the characters mean to them, how much the world means to them. Like, it made me weepy a few times. I got emotional watching them because it was just so sweet to see people like getting to interact with other people in their Camp Half-Blood t-shirts and then like ask a question of somebody they really admire. That was just really cool. I loved that. Tantalus himself, Timothy Simons, friend of the Ringer, not yet a friend of House of Art, but maybe one day. Tim moderated.
Percy season 2.
Yeah, Percy season 2. He was hysterical as always. He was great. That was really fun. We got to see in the footage our first glimpse of one of my favorite characters in the book series, Tyson, who, we've, of course, known that Tyson is coming because this is the Sea of Monsters adaptation. We've gotten to hear from the performer who's like such a fan of the books and he was wearing his trident, like, pendant necklace that was just amazing.
Real sweetheart,
But we got to see the first glimpse of Tyson with the Cyclops eye, and that was really fun to like not just see, but then to see to feel everybody else gasp when they got to see Tyson rendered on the screen for the first time. And then, not to like jump past season 2, which hasn't even come out yet, but the highlight for me, the part where I was like grabbing your arm, they announced Nico and Bianca D'Angelo. They announced the casting for 2 of my favorite and the most important characters in the series. Like, Nico is a real favorite of mine. And they announced the casting, and we got to see, like, Rick came on the screen and announced the casting news. And then we got to meet the performers. Let's see. Levi, Chrysopolis, and Olive Abercrombie. And they were just precious. They were precious, and I can't wait for the D'Angelo siblings to come into the world. And the 3rd book is my favorite in the series, so I'm just like, I'm excited for season 2, of course, but I'm already like, the hype for season 3 now is mounting, and the fact that they've cast them makes me, perhaps foolishly, but makes me optimistic that maybe it will be a shorter span between seasons.
A lot of the jokes from the core trio returning was about how much older and taller they were in season 2 than in season 1.
We're not like quite in Stranger Things territory, but we've grown.
Yeah. So I think they're all feeling the urgency of capturing those kids while they're kids.
Yes. Yeah. What's your number 3, my darling?
My dearest darling one, it's spending time with the Ringerverse pals, the core crew. Arjuna is here in the studio with us. So getting to spend time with Arjuna, with Charles, with Jomi, with Steve, with Van. Just means a lot to me. We had a team dinner beneath a very rickety looking Ferris wheel.
That we watched disassembled by two people in real time. So that was disturbing, I have to say.
But doing the panel with all of you, it was just fun. House of Midnight doesn't get a ton of chance to all be together. So it was really nice to be all together.
This was our first time all out at a place together because we've had, whether it's prior Comic-Cons or D23 or Star Wars Celebration, there's always one
teams.
person missing or somebody's not there or two people aren't there. So this was really cool to get to just spend the time together. And I loved that every day, even though people went off to do their own things, and maybe if we have a few minutes at the end, we'll do a very quick lightning round honorable mentions of some of the other stuff we hadn't talked about, but that we know other people really were excited about when they got to see, because that was one of the cool things about the weekend too. Is if one of us didn't get to make it to a panel, but someone else did,
they could report
back.
the
download, and you're like, oh man, everyone had a great day.
Yeah.
Everyone had a cool, fun, interesting day.
Yeah.
And the moments where you're just sort of weaving in and out of each other's lives. Right?
Yeah.
You meet up, you're in the same place, you grab a snack bar together, everybody fuels up on their coffee, then everybody goes and does their own thing, or fractures, and then we amass again. It was that all felt really great and kind of smooth. Surprisingly smooth. Great work, Arjuna. You killed it, man. I say surprisingly smooth and know that you ground yourself into dust
Arjuna
for
just
months.
went to make sure it felt that smooth for all of us. So thank you, Arjuna.
Legend.
Yeah.
That's a great pick.
Thanks.
The team rules. Again, I smuggled all of that at the top so as not
to
have to devote spots in my top 5, but I am, as always, undisciplined, and nobody's surprised by that. My top 2, I have as a shared number 1. I don't have a 2 and then a 1. I have 2 number 1s.
Okay.
I couldn't make a decision because it was the thing I was it's one of the things, the 2 of the things I was most excited for. And then there's a personal, as you've already teased, one of my most anticipated things of next year. But then there was the just sort of sheer mass of all of the different things that we got to do.
Since I understand what they are, how about we? I'll do
talk
my
about
number 2.
Yeah, and then I'll talk about Hail Mary after, and then we can do the
talk about
obvious other thing.
The thing that is branded all around us.
What could it be?
But it's also actually my number 1.
What could it be?
My number 2, as Mallory already mentioned, is that I went to the Anne Rice Immortal Universe panel, which was a double panel. It was the tease for the Talamasca, the 6-episode Talamasca series, and then a tease for season 3, which they're calling the Vampire Lestat of Interview with the Vampire. And I went to that panel so early. I had a reserve seat for that panel, and I was still pacing outside of Ballroom 20 for an hour beforehand because I was so excited for it. And I didn't think Mallory was going to be able to come because she was at the Peacemaker panel and all this other stuff. And so I was there for the first, 15 minutes or so by myself, just texting Mallory. I was and then Eric Bogosian, who, if you're a fan of New York theater or Law and Order or Succession or whatever,
Billions.
Okay.
Billions. Never miss an opportunity to mention Billions.
It's a veteran actor who's been working for a long time, incredible actor, but has experienced this sort of second coming of popularity because of his work in Interview with the Vampire. He's got this rabid young audience who love him as Daniel Malloy on Interview with the Vampire. So they brought him out for the Talamasca panel to say, hey, Daniel Malloy is going to be in the Talamasca series. Mallory was outside the hall. It was the Beatles came to America. When Eric Bogosian walked out, it was
a roar.
It was louder than actually maybe anything I heard.
Shrieks.
Outside of the number 1 thing we're going to talk about in Hall H. It was so loud and so shrieking and so wonderful. For Eric Bogosian, just this veteran actor, it was so amazing. And then, so I was texting Mallory and she's like, I'm going to try to get in.
Yeah.
And then she got in, sat next to me. And that just made everything so much better. We did get shushed by a poor reporter who was trying to transcribe the panel because we were talking too excitedly. And then the Interview with the Vampire panel started next. And Sam Reed and Jacob Anderson came out. Eric Bogosian came out again. Daniel Hart, who's the composer of the show. And Raleigh Jones was there, who's the showrunner who I absolutely adore. And he brought out his like dog-eared, bookmarked, creased, crumpled copy of the Vampire Lestat book, partly as like a prop to announce like this is what the title of the season's going to be, but also to flex.
Yeah.
As well he should, how much time and attention he pays to these texts. I've seen him do this before on like various interviews, bring out the books just to show you how much that he's like paying attention to these texts. But I am so excited. And then, I mean, Jacob Anderson and Sam Reed are so incredible.
Yeah.
They're so wonderful. They showed a teaser that they have released online, and then a teaser, I think that was exclusive to the room. They had only been shooting for 15 days, and they put together a trailer. I don't understand. So much footage for the trailer.
It seemed like something you would assemble after 6 months of filming.
It was wild to me. And I cried.
Yeah.
I did. Because here's the thing. Interview with the Vampire is genuinely one of my favorite shows of all time ever. It's currently airing, and it is one of my favorites of all time ever. Means a lot to me. I was texting Van photos, and he was like, oh my God, they're so gorgeous, all this sort of stuff like that. So like Van is here with me. Mallory has seen season 1. She is here with me. But my love is on an unhealthy level for this show. And so imagine that one of your favorite shows of all time exists. And you're Joanna Robinson, and now they're going to make it a musical. That's what's happening in season 3 of Interview with the Vampire. And so we just saw the Vampire Lestat in his sort of velvet goldmine glory, like leather panted, shirtless. But then like the best part of the footage that they showed us is that we got to see a bunch of flashback footage.
Yes.
So, from centuries ago, some of that was in there.
Yeah.
Jennifer Ely from the 1990s Pride and Prejudice miniseries, who played Elizabeth Darcy, is going to be in the season. That got me really excited. And the music that we heard was amazing. And then there's just like this incredible scene of basically Louis and Lestat, which is essentially set up as like a divorce.
This was fantastic.
Divorce lawyer, like, I don't know what you call those, like. Mediator scene and
child of divorce.
Yeah, and Lestat is just throwing a tantrum, very Lestat tantrum, and
very specific detail that will pull out of thin air. That is so good.
It was just amazing. It was just, I lost my mind. I think it's the most like fangirl Comic-Con experience of my lifetime, and Mallory was there to squeeze my hand through it.
Had you ever previously been shushed by a fellow journalist?
Nope.
So then I think that cements it.
Never happened to me before. Deeply unprofessional. The Interview with the Vampire season 3. There's a massive, I'm sure you've seen it if you are a fan of the show, there's a massive wrap on one of the buildings that's right across from the convention center, and it's the Vampire Lestat, and it says "Scream for me." But if you are looking at it at a certain angle and the palm tree is like blocking it, it just says "Cream for me," and it's just like definitely intentional. I didn't write it; it's just there, and it was a lot. It was a lot to experience here at San Diego Comic-Con. So
incredible! You pointed that out to me day one, and then I couldn't unsee it, of course, and so I tracked the various viewing angles, and more often than not, it's cream for me.
Cream.
Like 85% of the vantage points that you could have, that's what it says. They know what they're doing and they're right to do it.
So there you go. That's my number 2.
Remarkable. Privileged that I got to witness you
Arjuna
witness
looks quite upset, and
He's
I'm sorry
disturbed.
about that. But
normally you have the distance of like a Zoom box between
or you're
us,
in like a booth, but you're right here in the room with me as I've lost all sense of perspective and professionalism. So I apologize.
Project Hail Mary.
Yeah. Describe the Gosling fit. It was extraordinary.
Okay. How can I describe this? He came out in, I think you summed it up well. Like it was very Taylor Sheridan verse.
Yeah. Core.
Yeah. Like a tight fitting pair of
faded, broken in,
like a Levi-esque kind of a jean, a plaid like denim shirt rolled up right to the elbow line with the top forearm tattoos just peeking out.
Yeah,
a cap,
a cat tractor cap.
A cat tractor cap.
Real like working man cosplay from Ryan Gosling.
Yes.
Yeah,
and the accessory that he carries with him everywhere, which is all of the charisma in the world. It's riveting. I love this book. You love this book. As you already said, we've just been so excited about the prospect of this movie when we got to see like the first images and just even like the poster with the release date we freaked out about. And the trailer, like to see the trailer on the big screen when the screens expanded, getting to glimpse all of the concept art and some of the behind the scenes photos of the sets and like hearing about how they're doing this.
You like grab me, you're like, it's Rocky's tunnel.
Seeing Rocky's tunnel really made me emotional because I will say, we have been reluctant to say too much about the plot of the story because, and we'll talk about this obviously in much more detail closer to the film, but in many different respects, the book unravels as a mystery. Like you are waking up alongside Ryland Grace and figuring out who you are and where you are and why. And then the journey toward meeting Rocky and like learning about him. The fact that Rocky is just in the trailers and is clearly going to be a part of the marketing campaign. You know, we've glimpsed the little like fingers in the trailer so far, and you know,
they're not hiding it.
No, the trailers are like, I'm not an astronaut. Like, no, I think they're putting it all out there in a way that is. I'm like 5% sad about it because I think that's one of the real joys of reading the book, but like 95% co-sign this is great. It makes it a lot easier to just explain what the story is. And then all of that is just the beginning. It's all just still sort of how we get to where we are. But
this is why I've been so bullish that people should read the book like now, as early as possible.
Yes, it is.
Because they've already sort of, revealed a bunch of things in the trailer. So like, I want people to have that experience as cleanly as possible.
Yeah, and like, I will say without getting into any of the particulars about why, that Rocky is one of my favorite characters. And I love a surprising friendship. And this is a great story about, and this was like a real focus of the Hall H panel, a real story about like surprising connection, which is one of my favorite things, obviously, in a fantasy tale or a sci-fi tale, a genre tale in general. It's something we always really like latch onto and respond to. So I'm just so excited. I hope more people read the book, obviously. I'm so excited for people to experience that tale in what looks like a visually astonishing cinematic scape. I cannot wait for this movie.
When they announced that Neil Scanlon, who was just like a legendary creature designer from Lucasfilm, is like put in the work on Rocky.
Yeah, getting to learn about the puppetry.
Six-person puppeteering.
Yeah, like incredible. The practical
endeavor.
Effects mixed with, of course, the CGI and the animation. Just hype meter through the fucking roof. And then, like, you know, we love Lord and Miller, like you said. So just to get to hear them talk about something that they're adapting and to get to hear Drew talk about something that he's adapting was great. And I just am such a fan of Andy Weir's work and his writing that it was really fun because he was occupying two roles, I think. He was occupying the I am the creator of this world, and I'm also kind of like geeking out that this is happening and I get to be here on the stage. And that was really, I thought, charming and fun to see. So the movie looks sick. I can't wait for it. And it was really fun to get to share that with you guys. I loved it.
Yeah, and I think that having them all up there, Drew Goddard dropped a Buffy reference, and I got so excited. I was like, Mallory, we can watch the Drew Goddard episodes of Buffy.
I started Mere Days
before we watch Project Hail Mary.
What a thrill.
What a joy. Okay.
Let's talk about
our shared number one. You might have noticed we're here in the FX Alien Earth studio. Honestly, though, genuinely, this is my number one. It's hard to top. Yeah. The Alien Earth panel in Hall H,
which you moderated, you fucking superstar.
Which I got to moderate, which was extremely cool to be up on stage at Hall H. That was a thrill of a lifetime. But
you killed it.
But they showed the first episode in full in Hall H. So it was a supersized panel. They showed the full episode, then they did about 20 minutes Q&A. So it was like a really brief Q&A. But I had already seen the episode on a laptop, though. So getting to sort of, I wasn't sitting in the audience. I was sort of like waiting on the side so that I could scurry back, so we could all go on stage. But the cast did come out and sit in the audience. And then all my pals, my Ringverse pals, were in the audience, and the sound was incredible, and it looks amazing. Yeah. I think we were all like a little nervous. You just rewatched all of the Alien movies. We love the Alien franchise. You're always nervous when there's like a new installment in a franchise that you care a lot about. And I just really, really genuinely loved this episode. Timothy Olyphant.
Have you heard of him, lads?
Was there.
just Joanna
on
was
the panel,
there.
On the panel, in the show. Alex Lothar,
She's
our guy,
really underplaying this.
Our guy Nemec, Alex Lothar was there. Sydney Chandler, Babu Sise, Samuel Blanken. It was just like I think one thing that surprised me, at least in watching the first episode, was I didn't know how heavy the Peter Pan references were going to be. And it's a really interesting skin that Noah Hawley has put on. Noah Hawley, of course, is also there. David Zucker, producer. But like that Noah Hawley has put on the show. It's really smart. He's talked about this in a few interviews, and we got a chance to interview Noah Hawley and Alex Lothar. But this idea of like the billionaires of the world and the tech that they're chasing towards immortality.
Yes.
And how in his view that goes hand in hand with this idea of Peter Pan never wanting to grow up.
Right.
And so you've got...
It's always fine when people with...
Never Neverland is fine, guys. It's
filthy
fine.
amount of means to pursue cheating death.
But you see so much... Unlimited. Okay, so... there are synths, there are cyborgs, there are hybrids, which are these new creations. We've got a guy in a suit playing the xenomorph.
Yes.
The xenomorph gets some crazy action in the first episode.
And
There's a lot
of
of
creatures
goo and a lot of there's like a blood-sucking leech thing. Anyway, it was always truly an incredible experience.
Co-sign all of that. I will be your hype man for you so that you can maintain that balance of not having to be like, I fucking killed it. But guess what, everybody? She killed it. She fucking killed it. Zero surprises here in this room or anywhere else, I'm sure. I would say that there were like 3. So everything that we've talked about was really fun. The Vampire Lestat, Project Hail Mary, these are things we're so excited for. We were looking forward to them. We will think about them now when we leave, but they were contained to moments in time, our experiences here at Comic-Con with them. There were 3 true through lines of these 5 days. Being here together, seeing all of the cosplayers, and then Alien Earth. Alien Earth was it was with us in some capacity every single day. We engaged with it in some way. And so it is like inextricable from this Comic-Con experience for us. And I think for a lot of the people who attended Comic-Con, that would be true as well. And so that's really cool. Like the level of the immersion in the world.
We're podcasting in their studio, which is right next to this really sick like crash activation that they have next door that people have been lining up for all weekend and
the
stuff
whole
like that.
time.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. Sorry, you're like one of my best friends in the world. Getting to watch you moderate a Hall H panel was awesome. I'm so proud. It was so cool. How can that not be the like top thing of the weekend? You got to be on a stage. I'm like,
I know. I'm doing that watching you do that.
What is wrong with us? Getting to watch you up on the stage with Timothy Oliphant, one of our shared faves, as he came out in a pink seersucker suit and did this to you. It's like a life highlight. That was amazing. The moderation was great. The discussion was awesome. Watching the episode, like you said, from a seat in Hall H, like seeing it on the big screen, amazing. The sound,
sound in Hall H is...
as I imagine, that is what it feels like when an alien bursts out of your chest. Like, in a good way, though.
My Apple Watch is just like, it's very loud in here. Your hearing is in danger.
And dude, like, it was so... First of all, I thought the premiere was fantastic. Genuinely great. And I think that the other side of what you were saying about like our, years, decades, maybe for people, days, weeks, depending on when you come to the Alien franchise of fandom, whenever you have loved something for that long or there's that much of it already, there's always going to be that level, like you said, of like what awaits. For me, and this is where I always tell myself as like, I love movies, but if I have the choice, I almost always, as you know, will lean TV. Yeah. Like, that I am just so excited to get to have 8 episodes and then hopefully subsequent seasons in this world because while I love the Alien movies, there is I think an aspect of like when you have an hour and 54 or an hour and 58 minutes, of course there's only so much you can do and the fans are looking for the facehugger moment and the airlock moment. So like to have so much more room to play and especially given where the show is set in the timeline right before Alien.
2 years before. Yeah.
a fascinating moment in the canonical timeline to get to expand and play and introduce new creatures, new figures, new corporations. Like, I'm just really, and I think Noah Hawley as a world expander, whether it was like Legion or Fargo, somebody who is moving into a world that existed and then making it bigger for us and showing us more of the nooks and crannies or aspects of it that we didn't know is there. I think he just has like a genuine gift for that. And the cast is awesome. So I'm so excited for the show and to watch the enthusiasm in the room. I think I told you this. I was in line waiting with somebody who had watched the screeners start to finish 3 times already. And he's like, I host an alien podcast. Like, Alien's my favorite thing. I've already watched
they sent 6 episodes out to press.
He's just like, I keep rewatching them because they're so good. I can't wait to start it over.
Amazing.
So there's like nothing better, especially like in our universe with our pods and what we all do, when the enthusiasm is there with the audience.
And the deep core fans are like, he really did it. And that's the thing about Noah Hawley has talked about this. When he made Fargo, everyone was like, how dare you touch Fargo, a perfect film. Why would you do this? And then Fargo as a TV show rules. The first season is one of the best things I've ever seen. I have very special places in my heart for subsequent seasons.
Ham nipple
rings at gmail.com.
We're going to be covering the show throughout the whole season.
Week to week.
Like, we're doing it week to week. We can't wait. So that's awesome. I'm very proud of you, and I think you're the best.
I think you're the best. Thank you so much. One quick Timothy Olyphant story I will tell, which is that when I walked into the green room, he was talking to Mark Hamill, who was going to be on the next panel for the long walk. And he was talking to Mark Hamill, and then we just sort of like huddle up before the panel, and he walks over to the rest of the cast. He's like, guys, Luke Skywalker is right over there. And he said hi to me. And it was just like, he's like, pretty cool.
It's just like us.
It was really
just
sweet.
Like
it was
us.
really sweet. Yeah.
30-second rapid fire lightning round, other highlights, things that we didn't get to talk about. Steve and I got to go to the Gen V panel. They showed a very early season 5 The Boys trailer there. And that looks like it's going to be, a bloody, filthy, great time. So I can't wait for that.
The panel I really wish I had gone to was the Coyote versus Acme
next for me too.
Panel. Where I didn't know, but my pal Griffin Newman was on stage as the Coyote under a mask that he did not reveal until later that it was him on stage.
Incredible.
But Steve went to that panel and he said it was really, really fun. And we ran into my friend Jermaine Lessier who talked about it. So that's coming out next summer, but that looks like really fun.
That was high on a lot of people's hype meter for the weekend, which was really fun. And then Arjuna has yet to stop talking about the Predator Badlands panel. You got to see a bunch of footage. You said it looked awesome. So that was really fun. We heard some cool things about the Tron Ares panel. So I think those are all additional highlights.
As we record, it's Sunday. We had to,
at this exact moment in time, right now, it's happening.
We had to run around like the longest Hall H line I've seen in a long time for the George Lucas panel in Hall H. George Lucas's first time at San Diego Comic-Con is happening right now. So it's just been like a really fantastic weekend. Dynamite. I'm Joanna Robinson. That's Mallory Rubin. We'll be back with our Fantastic Four pod on Tuesday. Thank you to the FX pals who let us have this studio. Thank you to Arjuna for all of his work this weekend.
Always.
Thank you to Carlos Chiriboga, who's with us here in spirit, who worked on this episode, and Jomi Adeniran on social. And we will see you soon. Bye-bye.